Welcome back to AskAPop. Today we're talking about the meat of the lesson. Now, Chef Boyar Cecil here again with another recipe. I was making some rice for a little bit now for lunch when I decided to make a meal out of it, and the Spirit reminded me that that's a whole lot like the difference between reading Scripture and reading the Bible. I bet you're thinking, oh, here he is going off the rails again. Well, probably, but stick with me anyway. You see, for years, I'd pull out my Bible and read along with the stories, and I'd be able to answer all, or at least most, of the questions. And I'd be pretty proud of myself. But you know what? I was a pretty bland Christian, and I'm pretty sure that God would look at me and I don't think he'd say he's all that well pleased with me. But then once I started teaching the kids, boy, they could ask some doozy of questions. I found myself really wanting to get into the learning in earnest, and I decided to sign up for these classes called disciple classes. Now, the links down below are um, there for you instead of a Bible verse this week. And the more I got into the Word, the more I wanted to get into the Word. And the next thing I knew, I started searching for context and praying before and after study each week. And the more the Bible became less of a set of books that were put together and more a set of tools for my life. Now, back to the recipe. A little bit, and I could have just had some white rice, and that would have been okay. But we could kick it up into a fancy rice-a-roni, or we could add add some more context to it and put some tomatoes in there, or give it some more meat and add some chicken to it and make it a real meal. Just like when I'm in the Word. Now I use the new tools that we have out there, like Grok or like the Bible Gateway. Plus, I actually still use a lot of the old tools that we have, like reference Bibles and even some of my old disciple notes. And definitely check in with my pastor when I need to. And along with prayer before, during, and after my Bible study, just to make sure that I'm spiritually filled. Speaking of which, I want to make sure that my belly gets filled, so I'm going to go and have some lunch with a little bit now. But this is what we do now when when we want to do our Bible study. So speaking of which, how do you do Bible study? I know a lot of folks tied into devotionals, and to be honest, most of mine is tied up with SSAs now, but before it was just random and spirit driven, with the exception of getting ready for Sunday school class. And of course, there's a lot of Bible study going into that. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.